Happy Mindful Monday, everyone. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend and got the rest that you needed in treating the weekend like a mini vacation, right? So that way you get the rest that you needed. And if you got to get away, that is awesome. Hope you rested every moment that you enjoyed it. And now we are back on Monday, starting a new week, fresh and ready to get it, right? So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about relationships because I know that that's a topic that a lot of people can benefit from. And it's also been something that's really been on my mind and on my heart lately. So, there's just so much to cover. And of course, on these videos that are limited in time, I'm just able to give you a little bit of a tidbit, a little bit of a tip, right? A little bit of education. So, I wanted to talk to a little bit about what criticism can do to a relationship. Now, sometimes we don't realize that we might be critical. Sometimes we don't realize that we might be hard on those around us. We might not realize that we are rough a little bit on them. Um, but if you're unsure of this, all you need to do is look at the quality of relationships around you, check out what your spouse is saying, check out how your kids might behave around you if you're a parent or if you've got friends, and you'll have a pretty good idea of how others perceive you. And if you're not sure, you can ask. You can always ask. It takes a lot for someone to get to a point to be able to be brave and humble enough to say, how do you experience me? Or am I meeting your needs? Is there anything that I can do to improve our relationship? Not so easy to say, right? There are different ways you can say it, of course, but that would be a great starting place if you just wanted a straight, clear answer, okay? Um, but going back to criticism, because a lot of times we might find ourselves in places that are difficult and perhaps not where we thought we would be. Okay, so sometimes life has a habit of throwing us curveballs. Everybody goes through it, and we can become a little bit bitter, a little bit resentful. Perhaps we're in a marriage or a relationship that we feel uh, we expected more, we expected differently, we imagined that life would look different, and somehow all these different things have happened, and we're in a place where we never thought we would be before. So, in those moments, we have two choices, okay? And it is always going to come down to what do you want, right? You can choose to ignore what's going on and things are going to continue to go the way that they are, okay? Or two, you can do something about it. I suppose we can add a third option that you can opt out. And the reason why I don't usually recommend that option, unless you are in an abusive relationship, the reality is that every person has some kind of baggage, something that they're working through. The long and short of it, we're all flawed. And at some point, we are going to have to come to a place where we make peace with this and understand that just as we have our flaws, the ones that we love struggle with theirs as well. And so when I return back to the point of criticism, we might get really hard on ourselves because we're upset with how things have gone on in our lives. Or maybe we're upset with ourselves, we're unhappy within ourselves, and then we take it out on those around us. And we begin to sort of get upset over little tiny details or nitpick or criticize. And a lot of times we may not realize that we're doing this to the person that we love. We may not think it is a big deal. It might be something as small as making little jabs, making little comments when we're together. It could go from there to being in public, like being with friends or family members outside and then taking hits at each other in public. Um, Thinking that, oh, it's all in good fun, but we don't realize that it is causing damage to our relationship. It is hurting our spouse, it is hurting our partner, so it is hurting our friends. And so it's really important, to be aware of this. And I don't advise, if you would take my advice, I don't advise that the answer is to just run away, because often cases that it's a lot more complicated. And when we truly love someone and we hope someone truly loves us, we wouldn't want someone to run away from us because we're struggling with something, because a relationship and love includes a space for forgiveness in order to thrive, and for vulnerability and honesty. And if you're struggling with that in your marriage or in your relationship right now, in your friendships right now, it's never too late, especially if the person is still around. It's never too late to get started now and recognize that, okay, perhaps I've been unhappy with my own life. Perhaps I've taken it out on you, and I apologize for that. And begin with starting to see the positives in them. If we want to go hunting for the negatives and the flaws in somebody, it is too easy. It's really too easy. Every one of us could point out something that's wrong with somebody else. But to stop there and remember why you love the person in the first place, to remember the positives, to remember the good things, those are what are going to build your relationship. To say thank you for the little things that they do that we take for granted, that we just maybe assume that, oh, they just should do that, or they need to do that, or they've always done it. And watch how your relationships transform. Watch how your marriages transform the moment you start to really just admire each other, love each other, and choose to focus on the positives instead of the negatives. That's me signing out for this week. Until next week, as always, your questions, your comments, your suggestions are welcome for video topics. And please feel free to contact me for booking any appointments, whether online or in person. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a great week.